Look at this beautiful stringer. Okay, this foam is just to show you how hard it is. Hardly dents. Okay, it's hard as a rock. Now, bear with me. I'm just getting this thing worked out. I'm just looking at that. Looks all right. So that, whoops, that's the deck on Chris is done. Now I'll just move this up here. So undo this. As I said, I'm doing 3 at once. Okay, so this makes it a lot more, you know, productive by doing the 3 at once. As well, you're getting the same mindset, you know, making the fins, all that sort of stuff. Chris, who owns this particular one, he's getting a mustard colour fin, yellow mustard, which looks really nice. He sent me the photo. Mike's getting sage all over, solid pigment, and the other one's getting a volant fin. Look at that, dead flat. From nose to tail, it is dead flat. Now, I'll move this one. Looks pretty good. Now, this particular, sorry, I put it the other way. This particular board, as I say, there's a lot of weight in this blank. So it's all about, this particular board is going to last 100 years. Okay, that can stay there. Now, Mike's is next. Now, Mike's is getting covered with solid pigment. So, and he wanted a really good weight. So, this is getting close to balsa weight, this one. We've got this heavy stringer. It's going to be a fraction lighter, but not much. This is solid a beech, like a whitewood, so it's almost like fucking, you know, pine or something like that, or something strong. And it is fucking heavy, but it's dead flat. Righto, so I'm lining that up there, just lining it up here, so we got it roughly set so it doesn't take much adjustment. That was the whole idea of it. That's pretty well perfect. Now I'll just check the blank. It's pretty good. It's pretty true. Now, so I put this in here. Oh, this, just to give you an idea on how hard it is. That's fucking hard, okay? It's hard as, and that's hitting with a sharp object. So, now the good thing about this one of Mike's, I don't have to overshape it. Because it's getting covered in solid pigment, I don't have to worry about scratches, or the shape's perfect, but I won't have to worry about scratches and gauze marks or anything like that. The shape will be perfect, but because of solid pigment, you can't see it. I remember one board I restored, it was solid pigment, and when I sanded the gloss coat off, it had pencil marks all over the board with shaper wrote all over it. And yeah, it became a feature of the board. It was hidden under all the pigment. You'd be surprised what they used to put under pigment boards. Holes, dings, patches. That's why they did them most of the time. Now, I'm going to put this here. I want to check where I'm at. So, I'm about 1 millimetre above that, or a couple of mil. Get up this. Whoop. Sorry, I hope I didn't just bump that out of the. Okay. Now this has got to come down a little bit. 1, 2. 1, 2. Just make sure it's still level. Perfectly level. I knew it was, but it's always a good idea to check. Now, check that. Couple of mil. Get up here. Couple of mil. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a thin scratch over it and see how it goes. See, not touching yet. Go down a touch. Righto. Now what I'm going to do here, sorry, there we go. What I'm going to do here, I don't want to take too much off the tail because that's the nose now, but off the tail. So I'm just going to go up 1 turn, up 1 turn, and that means I won't take as much off there. Drop this down a fraction. There we go. Now, there we go. Down a fraction. This looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Cut the other. Not bad. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go 1 more turn up. There we go. There we go. Now we've got it. Righto. Look at there. Righto. So, what we've got here, perfectly routed deck. Perfectly routed. Now, I flip it over, or actually flip the, I should say the templates over, then the blanks, and I do the bottom. This is the part where it really saves you that much time, it's not funny. And the accuracy is just second to none. You couldn't plane it this perfectly flat, okay? Using only, 3 mil. It just would be impossible. Now, first I got to get rid of all this. This is, if I did this on 3 separate occasions, each time would take the same amount of time, but where you save time with this is, it's only done once and you do 3 boards. So this is where it is a real time saver. Really helps you big time. Right, so first thing I'm going to do, undo my safety bolts. These are on the end. Look at that, dead flat, nose to tail. If I would have used balsa stringer, it would have been pretty light, but by adding this solid wood, it's fucking adds a good deal of weight. But strength, Mike could drive a pickup over this, it'll never, I don't think you'll ever snap this board. Oh, hang on, let's say an aircraft carrier runs over it, that could come close. Now what I'm doing is I'm shifting over now to the bottom curve. And when this is done, it'll then have a perfect foil. Everything will be exact to the millimeter. So this is where you have massive time saving, but massive accuracy. Because this particular board is a, pretty different shape with the flat deck. Used to see a lot of them round, but not many people wanted to do them in Australia in recent years. One surfer I know used to like flat boards, really flat, and that was Pete Cornish. He used to do them, but other people say, yeah, I used to do them, and I'll call bullshit on it because I haven't seen one. And when I approached Burfords, they refused to do it. Okay. And when I approached Surf Blanks originally, Midget said, well, you'll be the first one we've done it for. So, and we decided to call it straight deck line, and flattest rocker they ever did at Dion's was not dead flat. So when people say they did it themselves, they did it dead flat. No, they didn't. I'll call bullshit on it and say, prove it, because it's not true. Now, oh, that's heavy. Heavy, man. Now, what I'm going to look at now, I'll just get the template. Where is it? Should be around here somewhere. That's the 60s pig. Sorry, should be on an old 11 footer. That one is the stringerless. I'm going to find it. Give me a sec. I really got to come up with a couple of more spots for the things, because as my model range is growing, what's that, Big Easy? I think this one's it here. Is that it? Let me have a look. No, basic plank. Okay. Let me check it another way. What happens is, I'm starting to get a lot of models, and I need about 2 more racks like this. It's probably down here. That's alright, I'll find it. It's not the end of the world. That's a lot grayer, apparently. If you see the End of the World movies, it's always got grey in it. Come on, man. Getting close. Is that it? Ah, 50s pig. Now, what I do here, I have a bit of a play round. So I've got to fit this nose in. Okay, this blank's back to front now. So I'll put that there. I want to make sure I can get this nose in without, because this is the easiest way to do it. Just flip the blank. Okay, now I put this here. I put it on 22, which is roughly 24. It's just there, 22 and 3/4. And now I can see how much nose I'm going to have. Yep, that's plenty there. That's going to shape out that little bit. And then get my thing. What happens is you run out of the reason I get these wide stringers is so I can get the width I need. Okay, that's the whole reason. Now this is going to be 10 foot, which is right at the end of that there. There we go, that's 10 foot there. I want to make sure the tail fits in as well. So if that's there, so I'll just check this. It's roughly about there. 2 9s are 18, and then 1/4. Yep, that's about there. Okay. How much thickness have I got there? Now just let me check this bit up here for width. It just means it fits the blank spot on. So I'll come down here 12, yep, 16, 16 3/4, gives me a bit there, gives me a bit there. Okay, I think I'm going to have enough thickness in that there. So, now it sounds like a bit of gobbledygook, but I'll come back a fraction. There we go. Now, compare when I cut the balsa stringer. Look at that. Fuck, that's strong. Yep, that's strong. Now let's cut this at 10 foot. Thank you very much, Mike. There we go. Still nice and thick there. Righto. So I put that a fraction under because it's 10 foot. I go by the finished board in this one. My goodness. As I say, when I cut the balsa stringer, you watch the difference. You're going to be very surprised how quick the balsa one cuts. Now, I'll just get my 40 grit here, and I'll just true up this tail. There we go. That's pretty good. Now comes the good part. Like that. Flip it over. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Now, sitting perfectly flat. Now what I do now is my little measurements here to see where it sits on the profile. 10 foot should be about there, or 10.2, but no, 10 foot, that's right. So that's sitting right. Now I'll line this up in the center. Yep, that's done. Line this up in the center. That's, let me have a look. That's it. Now, chop this down. Oh, fuck, that's hard. This just holds it in place. This is super important, okay? If this wasn't like this, the blanket move, and yeah, this stops all the vibration and everything. See, that holds it rock solid. Hard to push it into the foam. It's actually quite a hard blank. Now, at the moment, this has got all sorts of contortions over it. So what we do is, there's two ways we can do this. I'll just put the profile back on, and should be that there it is. And I'll measure down the same distance from the deck to the other side, so the foil's even. And I'll show you what I mean. So I measure here, and what I want is from here to the deck, my finger right there, see where I'm at. That's 1 7 3/4. Measure this side, it's only be about 1 1/4 inches, so it's got to come up. Yep, so this has got to come up. 1, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now measure it now. Getting closer. 1 5/8. I'll recheck the nose. That would have dropped a little bit because the nose is, or increased a little bit, sorry. No, dropped. So that is now 1 5/8. That's the same on the nose and tail. There we go. Yeah, fraction more there on the tail, and 1 there. There we go. Now, I'll check that it's level because of all this movement. Perfect. That looks pretty good. Now put the router back in. The curve's in here, so I'm going to get the exact bottom shape. But what I'm going to do first, I've got to find the happy medium, so to speak. So get rid of that. Check that. Nearly touch. And nearly touch. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this a little bit. Cut that a little bit. Touch more. Now, show you a little trick. Now, I'll show you a little trick. Because you got to check this stuff before you get close. Now that's about 2 mil off cutting, okay? So what I do is, so 1 foot up, I've got a thickness of, here we go, 1 foot up, I've got a thickness of 1 inch and just over 7/8. Okay? So what I've got here, I need 2 1/8. Okay, and what that is there is 1 7/8. So because that has to cut that little bit more off, cut more off the nose and tail, the foil's right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get rid of this excess on the rail. Okay, because this has got a roll bottom now, it's not dead flat. Okay, so watch this. See that? See how it's cutting it down? You see how it's hardly taken anything off there, but it's took nearly 3/4 of an inch off here. Righto. Now go this way. Nice and slow. Righto. So you can see what I've done here, right? I'm cutting the roll in the bottom of this blank, which is what I want there. Okay, that shape. That's exactly what I want. That bit of roll. It's all the way through. Now I'm going to check the thickness, because I want to see where I'm at. It's a little bit of playing around, but it's not that bad, okay? Okay, I'm at 3 3/8, I've got an eighth more to go. So I've got to do a couple of things of this calculation. Okay, one, I want to check the width. Now because this blank's so wide, I can't get my calipers all the way into the center. So I'm going to show you a way of doing that. Okay, this blank's nearly 24 wide, it's 23 3/4, but I need to come into about here. So I'll cut this here. Okay, because I know 12 and 12 is 24 and I want 23 3/4. So don't worry, I haven't gone crazy. I'll push the blade in here. There we go. Then I just get the saw, because the calipers are normally made for normal width blanks. When you increase the width that much, this is when it makes it so you can't get the width, you know. Yeah, or I mean, I could make another set of calipers. I suppose that's one solution, but I'm not really wanting to do that. I may do it. So that goes all the way through. That goes all the way through. There we go. So, big chunk out of Mike's rail, but the board's inside that, okay? The board's 23 3/4 wide, which is about here, okay? So I've got about 1/4 inch there. So what that means is, when I go to put my calipers in here, to get the width, see I'm in the middle of the stringer? Because it's thicker there, it rolls off. So I want that measurement there. I'll come to here. Now I can get a true measurement, and I know how much I've got left of profiling to take off. And that says 3.5, so I've got 3/16. And I'm just going to double check that. Always double check it. So if I take off just under 3/16, I'm going to have plenty of meat left to play with there, okay? So that's one of the main things. What I'm going to do now is do a cut closer to the thickness that I need. I'll take it down a fraction, and then I'll see how my foil's going. So I'll take it down about an 1/8. There we go. Do my cut. Now see, this part here hasn't been touched yet. Nearly. Righto. Hang on. Righto, now I can measure this, see how my foil's going. So, these are the important measurements. The nose thickness, okay, which is 1 3/4 inches, a fraction over 1 3/4 inches. And this is so what I want this to do is go up a touch, one turn, I'll take another cut off here. There we go. Touch more. Righto. So I've got to make a gap here. And that is so the calipers can make its way out, because I'm taking a measurement from that. So I'm just going to check excuse me, the nose and tail. So that's it there, which is, let me blow that down, it's a dusty bloody thing. That is 1 5/8, a fraction over. Now check what this is. I want this to be just over 1 3/4 inches. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Righto, so the foil's right. Now, the next part, I want to get the thickness right. So, check this. What I've got there. What I want to do, I'm just going to tighten up loose, loosey-goosey. I'm just going to tighten that up because it does move a bit. Now, that, hang on, another pair here somewhere. Shifter will do. Just want this to be super tight. Haven't tightened it up for a while. There we go. That's not moving. That's now nice and tight. Whoops, I knocked my filter off. That's not good. It's alright, I'll put that back together before I die. Live filter stuff. Sorry, I just caught it on the nail over there. So this goes here. This goes here. This goes here. And I'll just take my fan off for a sec, so I don't breathe in too much shit. Take that off. That clips on there. This goes back on here. Now I'll start heating up here because I've got no air supply going in. Put that back on there. That's better. Right. It's the first time I ever did that. Now let's check this. And now I can see exactly where I'm at. The thickness I want. It's not going to move. I come to here. Sorry, it's got a bit of dust in my eye. Where'd my ruler go? There it is. Now, right on there, so I've got a fraction to take off. Got like a 16th to take off, and everything's perfect. Okay. So, I'll just drop that down. Fraction. There we go. All those marks. Sorry, let me show you this. Sorry. Now let me tell you about now. As I said before, sometimes you're taking a fraction. See, I'm only taking that much off there to get it all to fit exact. It just sometimes takes a bit of work. You couldn't hand shape it as accurate as this. Beautiful.